person who makes films. I'm speaking as a citizen who knows about history, who has always tried to be nonpartisan in everything. But in this case, I felt it was time. There was a circumstance where I felt the person running for president was so unqualified, and I am not alone. Almost everyone in the historical position knows that to be the case, and have written about it and talked about it, and have tried to warn a populace sort of distracted and infatuated with the media.
Ken Burns, yes, the documentary legend, just dropped a truth bomb. So big even Trump's wig might need a second coat of hairspray. Imagine Trump trying to outsmart a historian who's forgotten more than his ever-known. Spoiler, it didn't end well. Buckle up, because this is the kind of humiliation that makes you question whether reality TV prepared him for this level of public embarrassment. You won't believe how it all went down. Ken Burns, a name that's synonymous with meticulously researched sulk. Crushingly accurate documentaries about America's most painful and transformative historical moments. We're talking the Civil War, the Vietnam War, and the Dust Bowl masterpieces that break down decades of human suffering, triumph, and growth into excruciatingly detailed stories that somehow leave you feeling both enlightened and emotionally drained. This guy Ken Burns isn't just the king of history, he's the guy who makes facts look like the most powerful, irrefutable weapon in the world. And then there's Trump, you know, the guy who literally thinks history is whatever sounds good in a tweet at 2 a.m. after a triple espresso. So when Ken Burns, a man who probably spends more time reading historical texts than Trump spends on reality TV, turns his attention to Trump's unique takes on history, you can bet something's about to go down. And spoiler alert, it's not going to end well for the self-proclaimed stable genius. The only thing stable about Trump's grasp on history is its complete and utter
endowment for the humanities. I could not have made it without. Still, the Corporation for Public Broadcasting and other groups are a significant part of the funding of this most recent project on the American Revolution. I just don't know where to go. I'll figure it out because I've been around for a while. What I'm really worried about are the new filmmakers coming up. Where are they going to get it? Just as Paula has to be concerned about all of the stations there, many of them in rural communities.
Of stability, important that we do things together as a country. That the enrichment that PBS has brought to my life, to our collective lives, is just undisputable. I think PBS is in these as part of the pursuit of happiness machine. They're part of what makes the country what it is. Like the national parks we subtitled our series on the national parks America's Best Idea. This is the Declaration of Independence applied to broadcasting. I couldn't, in a world where history is apparently written by whoever has the loudest voice and the most followers. Trump's facts have always been, let's say, loose. The guy can barely tell you who's in the White House, let alone what actually happened during the Civil War. But why let that stop him from claiming he knows it all? Right, that's Trump in a nutshell. Confident, loud, and completely oblivious to the fact that there's literally a whole bunch of historians out there who eat, sleep, and breathe facts for breakfast. Maybe you're enjoying, please subscribe. But here's the thing about Ken Burns, he lives for facts. The man spends years researching his documentaries, compiling primary sources, diving into the deepest recesses of history, to craft a narrative that's as close to the truth as possible. Burns isn't out here spinning yarns about the best ever presidents, or making up new holidays to suit his narrative. No, he's digging through piles of dusty archives to make sure every detail is perfect. It's what he does, it's his art. And when Burns steps into the ring to challenge Trump's delusional takes on American history, you can be sure the only thing
easily lies, creating an environment where the truth doesn't seem to matter, who has never demonstrated any interest in anyone or anything but himself and his own enrichment. And asking this man to assume the highest office in the land would be like asking a newly minted car driver to fly a 747.
Left standing will be the cold hard truth. Trump, on the other hand, is out here playing historical fast and loose like it's a game show. He takes random moments in history, slaps on some gold plating, and presents them as if he just uncovered them from the ruins of ancient Pompeii. Did Trump just say something that sounded suspiciously like it was ripped off from a bad Wikipedia article? No worries, a little white lie never hurt anyone, right? But when Burns hears that, you know the guy's going to call it out. And when Ken Burns calls someone out, it's not with some half-baked, hey, you're wrong. Nah, Burns doesn't just correct you, he makes you feel like you need to pack up your entire life and start over in a new country far away from all things American history. The moment this showdown went down, we all knew something magical was about to happen. Trump's history is the equivalent of a toddler scribbling on a napkin, and Ken Burns is the history teacher who's got the receipts for days. Burns' first major disc to Trump simply being able to read about the Civil War. Trump, bless his heart, has often found himself in a bit of a mess when discussing this era, like when he tried to take credit for winning a war that ended a long time before he was even born. So when he decides to talk about the Civil War, you just know he's about to screw it up in ways only he can. Ken Burns isn't a man who lets misstatements slide. He doesn't tolerate it when people go around rewriting history to serve their own self-interest. But when Burns heard Trump spewing some nonsense about the Civil War, he didn't just shake his head and mutter a disappointed yikes. Now Burns went full-on history professor mode. He walked through the actual facts with the kind of precision that makes you feel like your entire existence is being questioned. Burns didn't just show Trump where he went wrong, he showed everyone watching exactly why Trump's understanding of history is so hilariously off the mark. And let's be clear here, Trump tried to fight back. Of course, it's Trump, he can't not fight back, but the problem with fighting someone like Ken Burns is that Burns is a historian, not a Twitter troll. Trump's typical go-to is throwing out some rhetorical garbage like everyone's saying I'm right, or I'm the best, they've never seen anything like it. Yeah, well, no one's ever seen a historical documentary that was a complete train wreck either until Trump started opening his mouth. Ken Burns didn't get into history to be insulted by a man who thinks facts or whatever fits his narrative. Here's the thing, when Burns stepped up to the plate, he didn't just come.
Important that we do things together as a country. The enrichment that PBS has brought to my life, to our collective lives, is just undisputable. I think PBS is part of the pursuit of happiness machine. They're part of what makes the country what it is. Like the national parks, we subtitled our series on the national parks America's Best Idea. This is the Declaration of Independence applied to broadcasting.
With a list of actualists, no, Burns brought the big guns. He came with the truth, the full truth, a weapon so sharp that even Trump's bluster couldn't deflect it. You see, Trump's whole thing is that he'll tell you anything that makes him look good, even if it's a complete fabrication. But Burns is not here to make Trump look good, he's here to make Trump look exactly as out of touch with history as he actually is. What followed was a classic Trump reaction, the I'm the smartest guy in the room defense. Trump did what Trump does best, he doubled down. Because why admit defeat when you can just act like you're the expert in everything? Trump, having gotten smacked down by Burns's historical knowledge, opted for the age-old strategy of shifting the narrative. "Oh, that wasn't what I meant," he muttered, as if everyone didn't just hear him trip over his own historical ignorance. But Burns wasn't having it. The man's too deep in the facts to be